Hi everybody. So I guess this is quickly turning into my studio driving. I've talked about why there can't be peace with a narcissist. I've talked about how what they want is the fight. They don't want to be correct or incorrect. They don't have a particular emotional state they're trying to achieve. In other words, they're not looking for fulfillment. A lot of empathic people, or empathetic, however you want to say it, we only come into conflict because of something that we're impassioned about, right? Something that we love, or something that we really want, something that's going to drive us. It's empaths tend to fight for what they love, and narcissists love to fight. So the two go hand in hand very well, because a narcissist likes to fight, so all they have to do is impact something that you love, and ta-da, they have a fight. So how can you... I've talked before about ultimately the best solution is to not fight with them and to go no contact. But unfortunately, some of us just don't have that option. And quite frankly, some of us really just sometimes want to fight back. So I want to talk about then, if you're going to engage in fighting with a narcissist, some of the best ways to do it. Number one, keep in mind about 90% of the narcissist fighting strategy is based on your emotions and feelings. So for you to fight back, you have to work on their emotions and feelings, which they don't have. They do, but they don't. So some key phrases to fight back with a narcissist, and these are going to surprise you. One of my favorite ones is to say, if that's how you feel, then that's what you need to do. As a great response to a threat, whenever they say something like, I don't want to have to go to the police, I don't want to have to take you to court, I don't want to have to make you lose your job, I don't want to have to, blah, 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 and say, look, if that's what you feel is best, that's what you need to do. And that does a couple of things. Number one, it gets you out of the tit for tat kind of mentality. The second thing it does is it shows that you're really not afraid of their threat, and that their threats are ineffective. And that's really one of the big reasons why it's effective. But then the other thing is, because of their sense of grandiosity and their ego, they're not actually going to carry it through with any of their threats, because that's going to make them look bad, and they know it, which is why they don't want to do it. And I've told you in other videos, narcissists tend to threaten with exactly what they don't want to do, which is really stupid, because their threats are the things that they don't want to do. So put them in the position where you show that you're not afraid of it, and they're not going to want to do it. With the exception, that's probably not sound advice for every single situation. In other words, a physically abusive narcissist, who says, I don't want to have to punch you in the face. And you say, if that's what you feel is best, that's what you need to do. So understand that it's not necessarily a golden hammer solution for everybody all the time. However, just for the sake of argument, when they're making, non-physical threats, more like logical or emotional threats, it works well. So, and that's one of my favorites to use with my narcissist, because we have a son, and she says, I don't want to have to force our son to miss out on blah 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 because we can't get along. Well, I mean, if that's how you feel, I mean, that's what has to happen. The other thing is, another good tactic is they're never going to accept no. So my narcissist presents what I call a lie sandwich, which is a carefully crafted message that sort of, one paragraph's going this way and then this way and then the other, where the subject jumps around. So she'll almost always start it off with something that's very pleasant sounding. I know if there's more than 5 sentences, 3 to 5 sentences, then she's hiding something. Because most people, when they want to do something that's genuine, really doesn't take all that much writing. For example, hey, this weekend is, there's a Lego exhibit. May I take our son for a little while and take him back? If not, would you take him? I think it'd be good for him. When people are acting in somebody's best interest, it's very short. But when there's something to hide, they have to add layers of deception to it. So I just reply no. It's a very simple reply. I don't have to justify it. I just say no. And that works really fun. It works really well and is very funny because it almost always results in serial responses, like just rapid fire machine gun anger, because they take no as a personal attack, like you've called them stupid or you've called them inferior or ugly or whatever it is that props up their ego. Because their ideas are the best ideas, they're the greatest ideas, they're wonderful ideas, they're the best ideas ever. And you say, no, you've just rejected their idea. And said it's a bad idea, it's the worst idea ever, and I'll never do it, right? So just by saying no, by disagreeing with them, you've, what's the word I'm looking for? You've insulted them. Because their ideas are so great, everybody should love them. Everybody will love them. And so when you say no and just leave it at that, they can't handle it. And because they're seeking a conflict, they'll start sending a bunch of antagonistic messages, because more than just the no. And you let them fire it off because you know it's going to happen. So once you say no, ignore everything until like the next day. And then you can just reply, sorry, you don't want to say, sorry you feel that way, but you can just say, I don't control your emotions, but my answer is no. Or you say, I don't have the right to tell you how to feel. My answer is still no. The more you try to justify why you're saying no, that just gives them a handle to grab onto and further their arguments. So when you're saying no to a narcissist, you don't want to explain yourself. Really don't. And the less you say, the better. You say no. And then every time you say no, like you can't just disagree. You have to plan to disagree, because if you don't have a plan, they're gonna work you emotionally. But that's the pattern. If you're going to say no, expect a bunch of nasty stuff back. They're going to try and push every single button of yours. And as long as you know that, and this is the important thing, understand that there's really nothing behind it. They're just angry, right? They're not, how can I put it? You haven't done anything. So if you haven't done anything, you have nothing to feel guilty for. So, like I said before, you got to be in the right mindset. You just say no. You let them, for however long it is, and eventually their jaws do get tired, and eventually they stop, and then you're like, my answer's still a no. and they're gonna wind up again. And then you can say, I can understand why it appeals to you. I still disagree, and I'm still saying no. And never talk about your reasons why. They say, I don't understand why you would say no. You say, I'm sorry you don't understand why. I disagree. And if I disagree, then we don't agree. Never justify your reasons, because you're going to be wrong no matter what you say. And they're going to be just itching for you to say something, because they want something to work with. Like, they're just clawing, like, give me something, give me something, give me something. No. They're just going to keep on you, and it takes discipline. It takes a lot of work. Anyways, those two responses are some of my best responses, besides just straight up no contact. Trying to think if there's anything else, since I got a few minutes. I tried to limit these to 15 minutes, not just for me, but YouTube. I can verify my account. Thank you so much for the helpful tips on how to get a longer time limit, but I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to hear me ramble on forever and ever. So yeah, fighting back with a narcissist, saying, if that's how you feel, if that's what you feel is best, you need to do what you feel is best. They won't, because they want the fight, and because their threats are with the things they don't want to do. You already know they won't do it. With the exception of if you're in a relationship with a narcissist and they've already been physically abusive, if they're threatening to hit you again and they've hit you before, then yeah, that's, use your best judgment. But if they're threatening something like, oh, well, I'll call your job and get you fired, have at it, because I'm pretty sure we live in a world where you can't just call up a random company and say, yeah, you need to fire Bob. Life doesn't work like that, Whatever their threats are, they will not make good on them. And even if they do, they're setting themselves up to lose, because they've now made a threat and carried out the threat. And frankly, judges don't go for that. So, if they do carry out a threat and there are damages, a judge will most likely rule in your favor, because last I checked, it's still legal to be a dick, and disagreeing with somebody is also legal. You can legally tell somebody no, but then if they make a threat and then carry out the threat for disagreeing and it causes you harm, judges will rule in your favor usually. Or you'll end up going to mediation. And if the mediation doesn't work, and I'll save that for another video, but the point of it is, tell them no. And if they're going to be terrible, just be terrible. And you can say that. It's like, look, if you want to be terrible, then just be terrible. I really don't care about fighting with you. Just do whatever it is you're going to do, and I hope you feel better afterwards. I disagree. My answer's still no. So go be terrible if it makes you feel better. Whatever you feel is best, that's what you need to do. All right, you guys, thank you very much for listening and watching. I've been getting a lot of really good comments this week. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing other perspectives. If you have any stories you want to share, or if I've missed anything or anything you feel you can add, please add in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next video.